Hello there you, and welcome to the Pit of War, where we test each Warhammer faction against a gigantic swarm of 8 million zombies. And today, taking up the mantle of defense are the Imperial Guard. Cannons, tank fire, and sheer overwhelming numbers defeat the zombie horde. But before we do kick off today's battle, I just want to say a massive shout out to all you channel members who helped keep this channel going. And if you're not a channel member, why the heck not? Click the join button down below. And while you're ready, go ahead and check out Bring the Dagger hoodies, available now on the ChaoticPinky store. With all that being said, let's get on with today's fight. Here we go then, ladies and gentle giants, kicking off today's absolute slobber knocker. Now, this proves to be an interesting one because I believe the Imperial Guard are the first army here to actually field artillery in our defensive battle. So, going to be interested to see how the zombies manage to get on. Now, naturally, we've had to have artillery on the field because we've got the Korps of Krieg, who are the primary defenders today. We've got them holding the inner sanctum. We've also got the shovel-wielding madman forming a big solid wedge up front here to take on the oppressive zombie waves. And already you can see that artillery is counting here, as well as the tank rounds just pummeling themselves down into the massed hordes here. Yes, that's what we love to see. Zombies are being flung through the air here. Now, this Krieger line, it is really vital to the Imperial Guard defense at the moment. This is allowing them to lay down that covering fire, because Imperial Guard, they're only really good at numbers here. Oh, well, look at that. The beauty of the zombies jumping off the cliff in the distance as well. It's just a perfect sight here. Artillery rounds, tank rounds, and auto gunfire is just decimating that zombie front line. Oh my god, the Imperials are already at 700,000 kills here to 5,000 losses. That's pretty good going. We had about 180,000 Imperial defenders. Now, I'm sorry, but the zombies that are coming down the side of this hill are just getting lit up here. Basically, the defenders can't miss when attacking that. Now, it actually looks like the Imperials are starting to push out to the corners here, probably trying to stop the zombies from being able to flank through. That this can be a costly maneuver here, because I don't know if the Imperials are going to have the reinforcements to keep this line moving forward. You can see that the rest of the defense is basically set to hold in the center. We have got a bunch of conscripts that are in there that are set to guard as well. So hopefully they should be lending their firepower to it. Look, you can see a couple of them also making their way out front here. Oh no, they're actually Kriegers. Oh good, it's nice to know that we've still got a bunch of Kriegers here. God, look at this. The floor was already turning into a goo mess. You can see the conscripts also adding their weight to fire to the lines here as the tank rounds continue to pummel out. But look, this is what I was fearing. The Krieger line has grown too thin in areas. The zombies here puncturing through the flank of it. You can see that firepower is now trying to concentrate on this breakthrough in the line. Now, like I said, we have got a few Kriegsmen with shovels in reserve here, so hopefully it's not going to be too bad for us. Meanwhile, the main lines are holding magnificently here. Fantastic little goo lakes are being created beneath the zombie horde at the moment. 1.5 million kills has been achieved, but again, look at this. It seems on these far corners then that we're starting to get these breakthroughs with the zombie horde. Might be because the firepower isn't too great coming out of the corner of the box formation that they've got. But yeah, the zombies are going to try and exploit that. Looks like we might be heading to a similar sort of scenario over here. Because yeah, look at this. The line is getting really thin down here. It's the thin Krieger line. But at the moment, the zombies are struggling, I've got to say. I'm worried what happens, though, when this Krieger box formation starts to completely collapse. Because you can see, on the far corners there, the zombies are really starting to exploit these gaps that they've created. Just pushing vast amounts of units through the breach. Some of them are going to start distracting the firepower as well now. Look at that. The gap has grown significantly enough that the zombie AI in the center is now actively pathing towards the box formation, which means that the firepower from the front lines over here is going to diminish, which in turn is going to mean that the flanks are going to fall faster. Oh my god, look at this. And I mean, oh, we've got to go take a dip. Oh, that's pretty deep, actually. Oh my god, little Timmy, get out your rubber dinghy. Fun for the entire family. Little Timmy could have a right old paddle in that one. That's gone really deep, really fast there. The terrain here naturally helping the defenders, but you can see the zombies are still pushing through. Like I said, though, we have got this other little Krieger line. Even though it's only a few sporadic groups of men, they are going to be enough to distract the zombies to allow that firepower to keep up. Look how far these guys have advanced. The unfortunate thing is, though, on this side, all the goo is just going down into the back over here. So some of the Kriegers may eventually be at risk of starting to drown. Again, we're starting to get these breakthroughs on all the flanks now. But I'm still hopeful for our Imperial defenders here. We're doing really well in terms of pushing the zombies back, even with these breakthroughs. I think, is that every single corner now that's been penetrated? Yeah, it has. Every single corner here now has been broken through, which means that our Krieger line only has a finite amount of time left. So we're going to have to either reform a brand new Krieger line, or hopefully the Kriegers are just going to have enough firepower to hold the zombies back. What we had, 2.6 million kills, only 5 million left to go. I mean, it's a pretty good kill ratio at the moment. 36,000 losses, 37. I think the Imperials are doing really well at the moment. I'm happy with the kill ratio, and like I said, we've got almost a brand new Krieger line starting to form here. Even though it's only a tiny amount of troops, it's enough to distract the zombies for now, who are just going to completely swarm over this spot. I think that's all of the Kriegers gone now. We're going to get a surge forward here towards the line. They have completely broken through the Krieger line on this section now. The other three flanks have still got Kriegers in them, but this one, no longer. And that gigantic surge forward now of the undead, piling over their dead comrades to get to that front line, to get some tasty Krieger meat. And look at this, a glorious second line has been formed here. The Kriegers coming out with the shovels, not letting this happen. No, 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 we're going to keep that firepower going, ladies and gentlemen. Although, on the corner, things are looking a little bit more desperate over this side. Oh my days, the zombies are just absolutely swarming the Kriegers. And these are, I don't think there's any conscripts in amongst these guys here. These are all just Kriegsmen. So the zombies are going to take a little bit of a time to get through these because, yeah, it's definitely going to be hard work for them. Oh, I do not envy the Kriegers, though, in this case. Again, look, we're starting to lose this front line on this side now. They're the last of the kind over here. And then we're going to get a gigantic surge forward. It looks like it has happened on this side as well now. But again, we've got this new Krieger wall starting to form here, which is brilliant. The Krieger reinforcements really helping to keep the Imperials in this fight that little bit longer. 3.4 million kills, 4.4 million left to go. Yeah, I think these corners may have just slowly but surely get chewed up and spat out. The real worry for the Imperials, though, is this semicircle of bodies that they've created is trapping all the blood within the inside, within the confines here. Now, that might be good, it might be bad. It might start forming a natural defense barrier, but it also might start drowning out the bottom row of defenders. So it's a bit of an odd trade-off. I don't know which is going to be better, having a natural defense of a blood lake or losing the firepower on the lowlands here. But yeah, it does look like there is actually quite a few Kriegsmen still making their way to that front line. Oh my god. That is brutal. The Kriegers here putting up a wall of shovels. I was going to say wall of swords. Not quite right. A wall of shovels. Again, though, look, they are starting to create this semicircle of bodies. And the goo is mounting. I mean, it's not that deep yet. We've still got bodies piling up through it, so they can still do a couple of million here, I reckon, before they have to worry too much about the drowning. As long as they can keep these Krieger lines up and reinforced, we should be good. Look at this, they're actually starting to push out again. Kind of insane. Not only did they form a defensive line, they're now pushing back out in towards the zombie horde. But our flanks on the corners are still woefully exposed here. The Kriegers with autoguns under direct assault from the zombie hordes. That artillery, though, I think that is really counting for a lot, especially this dude. I mean, look at this. That's some point-blank firepower he's getting here. So lucky that there's no friendly fire in this game. Oh, my God. This is, yeah, that's getting really worrying now. I think some of the Kriegers are probably going to start drowning here. Like I said, they're set to hold, so normally they'd try move and back out of it, but with the mass behind them, they haven't really got anywhere to go, so I don't think they'd move that much anyway. We might save an extra couple of hundred, but yeah, look at this. Definitely some have drowned over here now. Definitely the Krieger defense is drowning. Oh my God, the corner has been overwhelmed. Despite the firepower being laid down from above. Yeah, like I said, I don't know what's better. What's better? Let me know. Would you prefer to have a natural defense in terms of a blood lake, or would you prefer to have the extra firepower? You can't answer both. That's not an option. I'm preemptively striking some of your comments there. I like how the tanks have all moved up as well to try and support this frontline push. And now they're finding themselves slightly overwhelmed here. We've gone below 100,000 Imperial Guard defenders left. 60,000 losses. Which really means that 20,000 Imperial Guard have died to environmental factors. Either fall damage or drowning. And yeah, that's kind of grim. Look at this though, we've actually formed a blood lake almost around the entire area now. It's just that one part in the top corner where the zombies have managed to pass through, but we have made this natural defensive barrier all the way around. There's only 3 million zombies left on the field. If I remember rightly, last time with the Eldar, we had about 500,000 trapped at the top. So I'm probably realistically, we're looking at 2.5 million zombies left on the field. And the Imperial Guard defense is still looking pretty solid, it must be said. These Kriegers are putting up a hell of a fight, man. But of course, the Kriegers, what would you expect realistically? Of course they're gonna put up a defense. Oh my God, they are literally just entrenched now, blasting across a river of goo. I mean, let's just go take a dip in this, because that is ridiculously deep. We haven't even got any blood in the center yet. I think this is this going to be the first defense where we get no blood in the center? That'll be kind of impressive in a way, because that just means that the Imperials managed to hold them back further than any other army. Either that, or it just means that the Kriegers are way too overpowered. But I am loving this. The zombies just having to create these bridges now of corpses to try and path along it. It is devastating for them. And that's going to take a lot of losses to path across these guys. But I've got to say, they are doing it. I mean, say what you want about the zombie hordes. They are making them bridges out to them corpses. They are funneling them units towards the Imperial Guard. Like on this side, though, this might be the one that the zombies want to concentrate on the most. Because this could give them a clear run through all of the Kriegers here. Like I said, you really do get diminishing returns on the firepower for the Imperial Guard. For every loss that they take, that's an extra gun that's no longer shooting it towards the horde. Oh my God. Oh God, yeah. I think all the corners are completely dead now. Oh no, there aren't. I'm writing them off too early. Look at this. We got a bunch of Kriegers over here, completely refusing to give up. That's the Krieger spirit coming through there. 2.3 million zombies. I'm starting to think that the Imperials might do this handedly, you know. That's kind of insane. They're just plowing their way through the zombies. Might be interesting to quickly run this again and see what happens if we change all these Krieger rifles out for just conscripts. just to see the actual difference between them, because at the moment, I feel like the Kriegers have just got this in the bag. Look at this. They've almost cleared out the entire zombie horde on this side. We're relying on the reinforcements coming all the way from the back to actually form any semblance of attack anymore. The Kriegers are actually pushing forward once more. All you can hear is happy gas mask noises coming from the front line at the moment. It's a Krieger holiday. This Blood Lake, though, has really been critical to the defense, I would say, for the Kriegers. It has helped them out a lot. I think I've got the answer to my question. I think I'd prefer the Blood Lake over the firepower, because the extra firepower doesn't seem to be needed, quite frankly. Oh my god. Look at this. The zombies still haven't managed to pass through. They're actually being taken up by a couple of tanks over here. Are we starting to get... Are they They are... The Kriegers are countercharging underneath the blood. Because they've got gas masks on. They're just sort of wading through it and getting up to the other side. That's kind of crazy. Absolute giga chance. The zombies now coming down to 1.9 million left. Look at all the goo. Oh my god, look at all the goo. There is so much of it. Have we got any in the center yet? Nope, not a drop. Oh, you good old Kriegers. I knew you wouldn't disappoint, but my god, I didn't know you'd be defeating the enemy this handedly. Because they've still got 80,000 units left on the field, ladies and gentlemen. This is ridiculous. The zombies really struggling to get anything going, and it's all these initial blood lakes that we've built up. They've just hampered the swarms, not allowing them to use their masses here. Instead, having to build these insane little bridges. And half of them are probably drowning in all the goo and the blood and whatever. Could you imagine the amount of guts and gore over this battlefield in reality? What is there, 6 million dead in this one area? It'd just be a meat field out there, man. It'd just nothing but chunks. Which sounds like a brilliant ad for some, like, hitty food. It's nothing but chunks. Your dog will love it. Made of real dead poxwalker. I mean, in the Imperial Guard, there is that myth going around that a lot of the meat there is just, like, humans. That they've, I don't know if there's any truth to that. Let me know. Because it's sort of like, I've always read into it as being more of a myth that might be true. Like, some of it is actually human, but not all of it. So I think there is some validity to the claim, but how widespread it actually is throughout mealtime in the Imperial Guard, I don't know. I can imagine Ogryn's not giving a damn and chowing down on some human remains. Speaking of human remains, all that remains here of the humans is 76,000. Now, the zombies have put quite a dent into the Krieger force here. That must be said, and there is actually still quite a few of them, all gathered up on the other sides over there. But with a lot of the firepower now not needing to be concentrated on this side of the field, I do feel like this might be a GG here for the zombies. So what I actually want to do is I'm just going to hit a little time-lapse camera here. We're going to time-lapse these last little bits, see if the zombies actually manage to make a corpse bridge here, and then I'm going to reset this, but just use Imperial Guard conscripts. I've got a feeling that it'll be over very quickly with just conscripts, but we're going to do it anyway. We'll be back in a second. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so what I think we've learned here today is that a specialist siege regiment designed for digging in and holding fortified positions actually fared very, very well against a gigantic horde of zombies. Who'd have thunk it? So let's go and see how your average Imperial Guardsman would get on. Someone who's not so specialized in these kind of engagements. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go swap these out for Imperial conscripts, and let's see what happens. Okay then, so every single Kriegsman has now been swapped out for a conscript. That includes the shovel guys. So we've got a bunch of Imperial Guard conscript melee units today. Yeah, let's see how this gets on. Place your bets now. How many seconds is the Imperial Guard defense going to last? I've got a feeling that this might be over relatively quickly here. Though I do think they're actually going to do still significant damage here to the zombie horde. I just think it's just not going to be anywhere near the same level as the Kriegers. Though I must say, they're already well over 50,000 kills. Oh my god, look how fast that kill count is going up with just these guys alone. Okay, so it must have been, I didn't even pay attention in the original one, how quickly it was going up. I know that we got to 700,000 pretty quickly. But yeah, oh my god, so let's go. One Mississippi. Okay, so that was about, yeah, I would say 4,000 to 5,000 kills every second with this setup alone. So you had to imagine that the Kriegers were probably reaching the heights of 10 to 11,000 a second, which is actually insane when you think about it here. Look at this, though. Already, the flanks have just been broken through here by the zombies. This didn't happen until the Kriegers had pushed, like, way out here before. But now, yeah, look, you can tell the difference in the quality of the troops. Even though these guys are still pushing forward, because there is a lot of firepower coming out of the center there, they're still able to make that ground up, but just nowhere near the same efficiency here as the Kriegsmen. 17,000 losses already. Yeah, look at these. These breakthroughs are significant now already. They're starting to outflank. But look at this. They are actually still pushing out. I would say, you know what, looking at it, they have roughly pushed out about as far as the Kriegers had, I would say. Maybe a little bit less, but they've certainly done well on this side, I would say. The conscripts are putting up a decent fight for what they are. And that is people who've been given 3 days training, an auto gun shoved into the hand and told to go defend this random lump of stone in this depressed valley. And let me assure you, all the Imperial conscripts are pretty depressed about it. That's not why it's a depressed valley, it just means because we're in a sunken area. But yeah, look at this. The Imperials are actually coming up to 700,000 kills themselves now. A lot slower than it was for the Kriegers, but they're still doing it. Now, this is where the real fight starts to take place, though. The Kriegers had enough firepower to hold back the zombie hordes on these corners pretty much all by themselves, which allowed the rear guard firepower to really lay in its work. You can see that we've still got conscripts rushing forward here to try and take up a new mantle of defense, much like the Kriegers did previously before them. So we'll have to see if this tactic works out. At the moment, things are going pretty spicy, though, for the conscripts, I've got to say. The flanks are looking like they're in tatters. The box formation is under direct assault itself now. And it does actually look like they're starting to chew their way through it. What we need is more of that Imperial countercharge coming out. We need more melee. Bring forth the pain. Bayonet charge! Or just fire artillery at them point blank. That seems to work quite well. Come on, give us another money shot. Yes, glorious. I do like the artillery. There's something really satisfying about seeing artillery just go into these hordes of units like that, and they just get scattered into the air. Now we are starting to form the goo lake that we did before. Are we going to get the natural defensive barrier? I mean, it actually kind of looks like it is starting to form naturally now. That could be good then for the Imperial Guard defenders. Yeah, these corners are nowhere near as strong as they were before, even with the overlapping fields of fire here. And them zombies are at the footsteps of... is this I don't know, is it a temple? The measuring stick? I don't know. The goo accumulator? I mean, I know the map's called Pit of War, but what this is in the center, I don't know exactly. A blood funnel? Give me some name suggestions for it. I don't know what to call it. But yeah, the Kriegers have done a bang-up job. So the Kriegers, Death Korps of Krieg, they passed the test so far. Are the conscripts gonna fare roughly the same, or are they gonna do worse? Are they just gonna get wiped off the face of the map here? I don't know, because This zombie horde is really starting to push in quite deep and hard now. Ooh, misses, that's what she said. But actually, I'm quietly hopeful here that they can do a lot of damage. We're at 1.4 million kills now, so you know. Oh no, that doesn't look good over here though. Yeah, that doesn't look as good. I was looking hopeful at where we've got the Imperial countercharge, but in the corners it's looking a little bit more woeful. I don't think we've actually got the numbers to countercharge on this side either. It doesn't feel like there's many Imperials trying to push forward into the zombie horde. But clearly there are some, because it is holding. Oh, I think we're going to have some mass drownings again here soon. Although I will say this, more of the conscripts actually ended up dying to the zombies this time than they did to drowning, so you can count that as a win if you want to. I don't know, is that a win? You died to a zombie instead of drowning in the blood of zombies. I don't know which is worse, to be honest. Oh, yeah, no, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to decide. It depends how you die to the zombies, isn't it? If it's slow and painful and agonizing, then, you know, sign me up for the blood pool any day. So what are we at now? 98,000 Imperial defenders. Okay, 71,000 losses, 1.7 million kills. Yeah, that is a huge difference between the two here so far. So I am going to hit a little time-lapse camera here. Want to see if which side has got the most goo on it at the moment. Oh, this side looks like it's actually just going to fall, to be honest. I don't think that side's going to hold. Okay, this side looks pretty good for goo. So I'm going to go over to this corner here, because actually this one's holding as well. So we'll go here, we'll hit a little time-lapse camera, and we'll be back in a second. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and you know what? These Imperial conscripts are doing far better than I ever would have given them credit for here. They're actually holding the line. They've managed to kill just over 3 million of the zombies so far. Now, we didn't get the proper natural defensive gulag like we did with the Kriegers here, but they are making their own defensive walls here at the very top, like most of the other armies, which means we're starting to get the gulag filled in the center. Oh, you can see, look at that. Glorious additions there to our gooey center. But yeah, look at this. They've actually built up a couple of corpse walls now, which is kind of impressive. And they're holding at that line despite the relentless assault of these zombies. Kind of crazy, actually. Like I said, I'm really surprised that the conscripts have lasted so long here as they have. But of course, it's not over yet. We are going to go back to a time-lapse camera because I just want to see what the total counter here was for the conscripts. We'll see in a moment. Let's see if we can fill up that center. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have our answer there. When that collapse happened, oh my, it happened really fast there. It was just that one breakthrough, and slowly but surely, the zombies here were able to exploit that weakness and wipe them out. And I've got to say, The Imperial conscripts here did a lot better than I thought they would have done. What, they're almost at 3.6 million here, which, that's a fair old cough, really. Now, the only thing is that they didn't really end up filling in much of the Gulag here in the center. They still did a fair old depth. Timmy can be happy with that. And again, look, the body pile's nowhere near as good. But I will say, I will admit, the conscripts did a heck of a lot better than I thought they were going to in this fight. Though we must admit, the Kriegers were the ultimate winners here, ladies and gentlemen. But of course, all the good things must come to an end. And as always, I do hope you had a blast. I know I did. Please do comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, peace.